What's going on YouTube? Kitchen93 here with the second video in terms of my Q&A, but this one is going to be focused on the pen spinning related questions that I received, and I figured that I would split this up or split the whole Q&A up into two different sections because those were the two main types of questions that I got. And I figured that maybe you guys are interested in one thing but not the other. So instead of making one gigantically long video, you can just listen to whatever it is I have to say regarding pen spinning and not listen to some other stuff. So there's not going to be much at all in terms of the video. So if you guys just want, play this video in the background and then go do work and listen to this like a podcast, be my guest. It's kind of designed to be that way, but the video's here because videos here and it's YouTube. So this is kind of gonna go in order from like the beginning to end in terms of pen spinning questions. So I'll say the question, then the answer, and I have several bit of questions here to answer. So let's get started. When did I start pen spinning? I started pen spinning around 2008, I believe. It's currently 2015, so about 7 years in theory is how long I've been pen spinning. But of course, I've taken breaks, as you guys could probably have guessed, in terms of the pen spinning. So when I actually started pen spinning 2008, but I haven't been practicing consistently since for a while. What got me into pen spinning? It was actually a video that my sister stumbled upon. So she found some random video on YouTube that showed a guy. It said how to spin a pencil. I think it's the video. I believe it's still up on YouTube. And so it was some guy who taught you how to do a thumb around and thumb around and thumb around reverse, and kind of thumb around continuous, I think. But that was basically all it said, and that really intrigued me because I thought, wow, this is really cool. Like, it's something easy I can do. I can do this at school. I don't have to like dedicate a lot of time, and also not a lot of money goes into, I guess, just a pencil, And the video is also entertaining. So besides teaching the thumb around reverse, and the thumb around continuous, he didn't really call the tricks by their proper name, by the way. But in this video, which again was how to spin a pencil, he spun things. He said, the thumb around, or whatever the trick was called, or at least what he called it, said, this is a very versatile trick. You can do it with anything. You can do it with a screwdriver or a banana or whatever. And he was just doing these thumb arounds with these weird objects, and I thought it was funny. So I picked up the thumb around reverse, and TA continuous. That happened like, I would say really late 2007 or really early 2008. I don't remember the exact timing, but I remember I was in 8th grade, so it was one of those 2 years. After that, I ran into my friend Christian, who goes by the pen spinning name Storm Cannon 1. I did a collab with him quite a while ago. You can probably find that if you looked for it. Or I think he just goes by Storm now. Yeah. So I did a collab with him. He was also featured in my 1.5 year solo at the end. And he had a very unique style, and we went to the same like school. So I just saw him doing, pen spinning one day at a meeting or whatever. And I commented on it or whatever. And then, we just kind of got talking, and then we became friends over that. And he is what really pushed me further into pen spinning. He's what made me realize, oh, there's so much more to pen spinning than just the thumb around and thumb around reverse. There's all these cool things. And he like was further along than I was, not by very much, probably by a few months though. Well, it was enough that he could do some combos and I was thoroughly impressed with, even though at the time, like just looking back on it now, they probably weren't all that advanced, but it was still cool and it impressed me. So I decided, hey, let's build a mod and let's try to get to pen spinning, actual pen spinning. And this goes into the next question. What was my very first pen spinning mod? As you can probably guess, it was a Victory. It was the worst piece of crap I'd ever made or ever seen because I had no experience with modding. And the Bic round stick was the only pen I had in my house. I looked up all these really common pens like the MX or the Kamsa, and I was like, I don't have any of these pens I need. I might have had an RSVP for, RSVP V1, which is basically you just invert the ink tube, but I was like, no, because people said it was really unweighted. I was like, I don't think I would like a weighted mod. It would probably like not help me. But that was it. It was a Victory that I just had, or I made rather. What are your favorite mods? So a Metallic Kamsa is a really cool mod that I really enjoy. Even to this day, I still enjoy spinning it. A Buster CYL is another favorite of mine, which you can tell from my other videos or past videos. And a waterfall mod. Those are some of the ones that I enjoy spinning the most. They feel the nicest in my hand. The waterfall mod I extremely like. I feel like the grips are great, the length is great, the weight is fine, everything's perfect about it. The reason why I don't spin it now is because one of the caps broke, and Reynolds caps are the ones, well, I think those are the ones they use on it. It broke, and they're really rare to find, and I haven't been looking to find them because even though I like spinning it, I just don't pen spin much anymore. So it wouldn't be worth it for me to try to find one. But those are my favorite mods. Another question that was asked was, show us how to make a mod maybe, which is, I think, a response to the question I asked of what you guys would want to see me do on this channel besides pen spinning, or tutorials rather. And he said, show us how to make a mod. Not really a question I can answer, other than the fact that won't happen, just cause. And I'll explain the answer to that more in depth in a completely separate video where I address the whole realm in terms of where I view pen spinning and where I'm at right now in terms of it. The next question kind of ties the previous questions together. Do you like pen spinning or pen modding more? And to be quite honest, I don't think I like either of them one more over than the other. Pen spinning is all about taking the knowledge that you've learned and the practice that you've done and putting it to something that people can see. Pen modding it appeals to me as well because I can be very meticulous and very perfectionist, like the way I am in the way I make my pen mods. And because of that, I like being very hands-on and I like building things. So pen modding is really much fun for me. The thing is that I just don't have the parts. But when I do have parts, I do enjoy modding it. But I also enjoy spinning. If I were to view it now, I would probably say I like pen modding more just because, again, I still get more joy out of, making a mod rather than spinning a mod as of this time. Like in the beginning, it was I thought it was really dumb to build mods. I was like, why build it when you can buy it? And people are like, oh, it's cheaper. I'm like, yeah, well, so what? Not that I have money to throw around. I'm just saying that it seemed like at the time I was very clumsy with modding. Like my victory looked like absolute crap. So I was like, I could just pay a little bit more and have someone make this for me. So that was my logic at the time. So in the beginning of my pen spinning career, I would say I like pen spinning more. Now I would say I like pen modding more. A follow-up, or not a follow-up, but a related question. Someone asked, is Penwish a safe website? If you guys don't know what Penwish is, this is where I order pen spinning parts and where many other people order pen spinning parts. And the answer is yes, they are safe. It's kind of frustrating because Penwish only takes credit cards, and some of the younger folk who don't have credit cards or don't want to explain to their parents that they're spending their parents' money using their credit card on a pen site. It is safe. I've ordered from it. Not personally, but I ordered through Storm because I wouldn't have enough to, be able to make my own order in terms of the shipping costs to make it worth it. But Storm and I combined together and we built it. But, his account was perfectly safe and not compromised in any way. It's not a big company that you have to worry about. It's a single guy, which I guess, might make you worry more because he could easily scam you. But he's not. He's a nice guy. The guy who runs Penwish, that is. Does a buster make you a noob? And the answer is no to this. Now, I say it's no with a giant asterisk next to it. And the kind of side note to that is it depends on how you use it. If you are someone who's been pen spinning for only a few months and you jump to a buster, that's not going to make you automatically a pro pen spinner. You're not going to be like, Super Wit, or you're not going to be like Peem, or, Vicat Gamer, or those people who spin busters on, a regular basis for their main mods. It makes you look like a noob because you don't have control over it. If you can, if you're a beginner or a relatively younger pen spinner, but you can make combos and make it look and it flow really nicely such that you are you don't make it look choppy and you don't make it look all jerky and whatever, then you can be fine. And any sort of pen used in the right hands can be, spun to make a really nice combo. But too commonly people use busters because they're like, oh my gosh, the weight is so great, I can do tricks I couldn't do before. And while yes, that is the key, the buster is supposed to give you an advantage over other pens when you've already learned the trick. I made a video about this. It causes the flame more. I don't want to talk about it. But in short, it does not make you a noob if you know how to use it. So, for example, would you call, Piem, who's won the World Cup and World Tournament, or not World Cup, the World Tournament several times, or very well known, would you call Vic Game, Superweight, would you call those guys noobs? No, because they know how to use it very well. If you have someone who's just doing, very fundamental combos with a buster, it looks kind of silly, but, if they can control it, then it looks good. So you generally want to use a buster for power tricks or for tricks that are much more complicated rather than just simple fundamental combos. So keep that in mind. How do you hyperextend your ring finger, which is the question or something that I mentioned in my curing flexibility woes video. Practice. I go over it in that video. I don't have the flexibility in my hands anymore to do what I used to be able to do in terms of all those like exercises, like the one where you like go like this, put your middle fingers together and split it like that. I actually still can do it. Wow. But not as much as I used to. But keep practicing and you'll be able to, get a very flexible ring finger. It'll be very helpful for those ring backs that you want to be able to do. And just practice is how it works. So the next question on the list is, what trick do you find hard to master but easy to learn? That should probably be written the other way as, what trick do you find easy to learn but hard to master? I immediately jumped to an answer: finger pass. It's a fundamental of pen spinning. It teaches you how to do passes, which are, in general, very easy thing to do. But it's very hard to master in terms of getting it very smooth. And to this day, even though, it was one of the first fundamentals that I learned, I still can't do it smoothly. And I don't feel like you need to be able to do it smoothly, because the finger pass in and of itself is not a trick you would throw in a combo, as in all of the passes up and down your fingers. It's just to show you how to do one pass, the next pass, the next pass in each of the finger slots. And it's just an easy way to connect them so that you can practice them a lot more in succession, and just being able to do the passes following and preceding some other trick. But the finger pass, to be able to just do it continuously and smoothly, is something very easy to learn, very hard to master. In terms of other tricks, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like that's a difficult question, because I feel like to be able to learn a trick, you can do a trick like once or twice. To be able to master it, it's all a matter of practice. The finger pass, yes, it's practice, but that is very hard practice. You have to practice a lot to be able to get the coordination down right. Other passes, other tricks are easy to learn but hard to master. Not entirely sure, because everything else has little caveats, and I didn't really think that answer through beforehand of another trick, so I'm not going to try to butcher it by filling it with words or filling the time with words. Another interesting question that I've gotten kind of repetitively over the years, but it was asked here, so I'm going to answer now, is why do I not compete in pen spinning? As in, why don't I participate in tournaments and things like that? And the answer is that I simply don't think I'm good enough, and I simply am not good enough. Maybe back in my prime, when I did around my 1.5 year to 2 year mark, I probably hit my prime around there, and I may have been able to compete in tournaments. And I actually did compete in a tournament at one point in time. It wasn't very official. I didn't make it very far because I got owned by some guy. But in terms of competing in pen spinning, I simply am not skilled enough. And it's all relative to what you guys are seeing, because you guys are learning from my videos, and therefore, it kind of implies that you guys are below me in terms of skill level. Probably not at this point in time anymore, because I have been way out of practice. But, when I was making those videos and when I was at my prime in terms of pen spinning activity, I looked good to you guys, because again, you guys were learning from me at that time. So I could do things that you guys couldn't do, and therefore it looks more impressive. But I knew my ability, I knew where it laid on the scale or spectrum in terms of where these world tournament spinners are. So I knew I would never be able to compete with any of them. They were just way too good, way too consistent, way more stylistic than I was. And so because of that, I just don't compete in pen spinning competitions. Now it goes on to the kind of like the ending part of this video, and it's based on questions that are kind of like trailing off in terms of pen spinning. So the first question, which many of you guys probably want to know, is, do I still pen spin? And the answer to that is no. And the reason for that is, well, there's a ton of other factors. And I kind of thought this was going to happen before it actually happened. But when I was in high school, I told myself, okay, I'll get good at pen spinning, while I'm, still around high school. But probably after college, I'm going to focus a lot on my academics so I can get a good job and not focus on pen spinning as much. And that's exactly what happened. So the reason why I don't pen spin anymore is because, academics take priority. Pen spinning is not going to get me anywhere in life. Okay. It's not going to get me anywhere in life that's going to be a significant portion of how I live my life in terms of things like income, in terms of things like being able to provide for my family and things like that. So, yes, even though YouTube and this pen spinning channel has provided me with, income, it's not something that I would continue investing my time in over my academics, which holds significantly more value to me and is such more important of an investment is than this pen spinning channel. And if you guys think it shouldn't be that way, then we're not on the same page. And I respect that. People have different priorities, but mine, I've always been raised that academics and school is the most important thing. And it is to me. It's a very important thing. So that's why I, kind of stopped pen spinning. It was kind of it was also a weird transition phase because I was starting to feel like I wasn't making progress in pen spinning. I got frustrated at things. And just about that time that happened, college hit. And it was such a shift in terms of like my lifestyle and stuff that things just kind of got lost everywhere and shuffled around. And pen spinning was one of those things that I dropped. Also because I didn't have a nice camera setup or nice setup in general, like I do here at home. And since I'd be living at college, I didn't want to set up a really crappy setup and make pen spinning videos in my dorm when that's not the ideal situation. So that's why I stopped pen spinning. When did this happen? Again, around college, but that's not a question. That was just an extension for that. Someone commented, pen spinning is dying now. Do you agree? And I can't answer that. And the reason is because I have not been active in a pen spinning community, mainly UPSB, for a very long time. It's been years since I've been active. And I cannot comment on the activity of everyone. I remember when I was active, it seemed very active to me. There are comments and posts on everything every day. I could go on every day reliably, and there would be new things to read, new things to comment on, new things to learn or whatever. And it was fun. Now, I don't go on UPSB, first of all. Apparently, it's like 2 UPSB versions past what it was or something like that. I was on UPSB V3, I think, when I was pen spinning actively. Now, I think it's on 4 or 5. I'm not sure. But I can't comment on the activity of pen spinning because I don't know the community well enough. I do still know that there are world tournaments and world cups going on. How those, roll on, how those affect the community, I don't know because, again, I'm just out of the loop. So I can't comment on whether or not I think pen spinning is dying. For me, it has. Or is dying, rather, not dead. So next question is, how is my fan base and feedback since I stopped making pen spinning videos? And you guys can comment on, or you guys can look at any of my vlogs, any of my videos that aren't related to pen spinning, and you can see the reaction. So the reaction is generally split 50-50. The first 50 is the 50 that support me and say, I respect that you're in school, you're busy, and you guys actually understand where I'm coming from. And then there's the other half that just sits there and demands that I make pen spinning videos. Excuse me. So the feedback has been mixed, to write it short, and rightfully so. I don't expect everyone to be on board with me of why I stopped making pen spinning videos because I know what it's like to be on that end. Like I mentioned this in a previous video that there's one guy who does a lot of tech videos I really, really enjoy. He's very good at them. He produces them very well. They're very professional, and I enjoy learning from them because he makes the learning of that stuff fun. And I realize that that's probably what you guys look at me to. You guys look at me and expect me to produce these pen spinning videos, and I'm not providing them to you. But keep in mind that I know exactly what that feels like. But I still respect the fact that this other guy that I watch is busy. He, when he stopped making videos, he was moving to a new place. That's a big thing. He was moving in with his, I think, fiance. I'm not sure. He's probably married by now. But, big life changes. And because of that, I understand that, he can't make videos. That's just not something you can practically do when you're busy moving from I don't forget where he lived, but he moved a few states away, and that's a big move, a lot of energy and a lot of time into that. So, I understand that he can't make videos, and I just want to ask you guys to do the same. Maybe you guys are all in high school and you don't quite understand the concept of not having enough time because high school is a relatively easy time compared to college. So, And I'm going to look back probably when I'm working thinking, wow, I had so much time in college. And it just goes on. Life gets harder as you get older. And so things have to get cut, things that aren't necessarily the most important things. So that's where my fan base is. Half of you guys understand me, and maybe you guys who understand me are in high school and you guys just get it and you'll understand. Other you guys, or maybe you might be in college with me, like, oh, you can still make pen spinning videos for me or whatever. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not directly correlated that if you're in college you understand me because you know what it's like. It's mixed all around. But I'm just assuming that based on the fact that my fan base is generally younger, I would say that that's where the mishap, I guess, comes from, is that half people don't understand my situation and they don't bother to try to learn it. The other half listen and they actually understand me. So again, special thanks to the half of you guys who do understand my situation and, I guess tolerate me. Are you reading every single one? Sorry, let me start over. Are you reading every single comment on all of your videos? No way. While I do occasionally scan my videos, I do not read the comments on them. I did in high school and it was really overwhelming. The fact that I had so many subscribers, people were commenting on it, new people were subscribing to me, those people were commenting on my videos. It was just way too much to keep up with and it was way too distracting. And if I kept up with all my comments in college, there'd be no way I had time to study. I get a lot of comments and stuff. And I looked at the video that announced the Q&A that I'm answering right now. There was a 40 some comment chain about something and I had no idea that was going on. And there are reasons why I don't read my comments. Like, well, for the Q&A I did because I wanted to make sure I got all the questions out. But for my regular tutorial videos, I don't make comments on because generally people, at least in my subscriber base, they tend to answer questions for me. And I'm really grateful for the people who do that and who clarify for the people and help other people out who are confused because I simply cannot do it. It would, again, just be too overwhelming. So I don't read all the comments on all my videos because too overwhelming. Now comes the $1 million question, which is when will I make another pen spinning video? And the short answer to that is whenever I learn a new trick. Now, of course, that comes with a lot of different, caveats and whatnot. But the reason why I've stopped making pen spinning videos is because I simply don't have tricks to teach you guys anymore. I have made videos of all the tricks that I know, and believe me, if I was very, what's the word? Can't think of it. If I had mastered a trick and I hadn't made a tutorial on it, you bet your bottom dollar I would make a tutorial on it because I like making tutorials. I like teaching people things. But the fact of the matter is that I only know so many tricks. I'm not, a pen spinning god. I don't have all the answers to everything. I don't know all these cool tricks that people might be doing now. But if I did learn a new trick, I would surely teach it because I like spreading knowledge, I like making videos, and the list of reasons go on. But the reason why you're not seeing pen spinning videos is because I have no content to produce, and you can't pull something out of thin air and be like, here's a video. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of time, effort, and thought that goes into a video. And maybe you guys who don't make your own YouTube videos but rather just watch them, it might be something that you're not quite clear of, that making a video takes a lot of work. And for someone like me, I like to make sure my videos are very useful and that they're standalone. My goal is that when I make a video, I want the comments on that video to say, thank you, I did it, it was very helpful, things like that. I don't want there to be comments or I don't want there to be comments on it with questions asking, oh, so did you really mean this when you want this? I don't want my viewers to be confused. I want them to be sure that, they are getting something that is standalone, and if they watch it enough and they practice enough, they can get it. And for the most part, I feel like I've done that. There was one trick, I forget which one it is. I feel really bad about it even to this day. There are a ton of comments that said, you never actually did the trick in the video. And I'm like, what? That's not possible. And then I watched the whole thing from beginning to end, and I only did it once. And that was during the slow-mo, I think, if there even was one. But I remember being shocked thinking, wow, I never really showed these people how to do the trick beyond maybe once, if I even did it once. And so I feel really bad about that because I know in that case, I did not help them. If anything, I probably confused them a little bit, and that's just not what I wanted to do. But for the most part, I think I just spit, sorry. For the most part, I feel like I've made standalone videos, and my standard for video making is very high. So I'm not going to just make a video just to make a video, just to please you guys. I want to make sure it's high quality and that it's good, so that you guys aren't confused. And so whenever I make a new pen spinning video is whenever I will master another trick, which probably won't be in a very long time, if ever again. So that's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you stayed tuned to this, there will be some more of this kind of Q&A stuff answering later. But thanks for watching. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next video.